Here I'm going to just quickly show you what you need to do to resize your minefield. So first of all, we're going to want all the components in our view to be able to rearrange themselves in a way that's reasonable. So if you click on the nib file, and you'll see right now, if you actually click on the main window and go to the attributes inspector and uncheck the resize just temporarily and save. And if you simulate the document, you're going to see, you're going to allow it to resize. Oops, it should allow it to resize. Why am I not resizing? Oops. I meant to make sure it's clicked. So make sure it's clicked. Go to simulate document, and you'll notice now when I resize, it's not quite the behavior that I'm looking for here. So actually what I want to do is when this resizes, I want the minefield to actually be kind of hooked to the bottom instead of the top. And I certainly don't want my new game button to be stretching, and so we can control this behavior. So I'm going to show you how to do that in Interface Builder here. So go ahead and quit the simulator and go ahead and click on the matrix in your nib file. And first of all, if you'll notice, if you go to the size inspector, you're going to see there's some stuff down here about content hugging priority, content compression resistance priority, and you can fiddle with these things if you'd like, and they kind of change the way the components get rearranged and resized as the window's resized. There's actually an old school way to do that, and I'm going to show you kind of the old school way to do it. So if I click over here on the file inspector, you'll see there is a checkbox called auto layout. So if I uncheck that, and now I go back to the size, now I get something a little bit different here. And this is sort of what I'm used to. This little box here, this auto sizing box, tells us what kind of behavior we want. And so we call these things springs and struts. So on the outside we have what are called struts. So you notice, for example, if I just have the left strut, you notice that the view sticks to the left side. If I have the bottom strut, it'll stick to the left of the bottom. If I set the middle spring, notice it stretches horizontally. If I set the vertical spring, it'll stretch vertically. If I set all the struts and all the springs, you can see the thing is kind of attached to all four walls and resizes. So as a matter of fact, it's just as an example, let's leave it like that and go ahead and save and go to simulate document and watch how the matrix resizes it. Oh, well, that's not what I expected. I guess the matrix doesn't like to resize itself too well. Let's go ahead and quit the simulator. Well, let's show you. Actually, what I want for the matrix is I want it to the springs to not do anything, and only I want the struts just for the left wall and the bottom wall. So it's just attached to the bottom wall. So now you'll notice if I say simulate document, and now when I resize, you're going to see now that the matrix is sort of tied to the bottom, which is exactly what we want. And you notice over here the origin, we've put the origin in the lower left, right? And actually, everything here is doing exactly what we want. And because if I select the pop-up box, you can see that the only thing I have here are the struts for the top and the left. For instance, if I go to the new game button and I set the middle spring, you're going to see what happens. Let's say I set the middle spring on the text field as well. You're going to see what happens when I simulate the document here. Is now, yeah, you're going to see those things stretch, which is not the feature we want for there. So I'm going to go back and just make sure I'm going to tie them to the top and the left. So I'm going to tie my new game to the top and the left as well. And you can adjust these differently if you want. So I'm not going to have any springs set except for maybe this horizontal separator. I'm going to go ahead and have it stretch the full width of the window. So that's how I'm going to set my springs and struts. So that, just to run the simulator one more time, and you can see that get sort of the effect you want. So now you can programmatically lay things out any way you want, but this will make things a little bit easier, because when we resize the matrix in the window, it keeps it really simple. We don't have to worry about rearranging anything else as long as we have this stuff set up like we want. So what we're going to do is when we resize the windows for different levels, we're essentially going to make the minefield bigger and fill up this particular area, and I want this stuff to just stay right where it is, right? So let's go to the programming part. So let's quit that. So if in my controller, I'm going to want to have a method called Resize. Matter of fact, if you just go to the document for the class, let's go to that. Let's see, where is that at? Yeah, if you go to I pretty much tell you how to do this here. As a matter of fact, yeah, Resize Windows. So what I do is I add so I'm going to, a frame is the rectangle that contains the window. So what we're going to do is basically reset the frame both for the window, and then I have the frame sort of I can have the frame just sort of resize itself. So this will tell us how to resize. So yeah, so there's a couple different ways to do this. Here I tell you how to resize the window after you've resized the frame. Yeah. So anyway, I actually. So you're going to see I add this matrix frame instance variable in here. So I could do that as kind of a private instance variable if I want. And that's a frame is an NS rectangle. So I call it matrix frame. And I go ahead and awake from nib, I go ahead and keep a copy of it. And so in my minefield matrix. So I go ahead and initialize it in awake from nib, and then what I do is in this resize method, which I'm just going to cut and paste out of the document here. So you're going to see. So this is going to be the minefield matrix and window. Let's see, do I have a look for the window? Oh, I call that the main window. So window, we'll do a quick search and replace on that. I want to replace window with main window. Replace and find. Okay. And all right, so that'll actually do the business for resizing the window. So under level select is where this is actually going to happen. So here I'm based on the index. So I'm going to choose new frames size for the matrix. And I'm going to resize the matrix. Yes, I'll resize the matrix, and then call resize. What we call I'll call resize window. So anyway, so I'll let you sort of figure out the rest. I'll leave it there for now. Thank you.